first thing that people look at is reducing headcount. And what they don't do is look strategically at their headcount and what the headcount is doing. Rather, they just look at the numbers that they're employing and then they start to reduce those numbers. And that can have harmful effects on the business. Often what happens is headcount is reduced and the upshot is that that work hasn't gone away. The systems haven't been made more efficient. And so these are things, what I'm going to run through now are the things that you can potentially do in your organisation to take costs out that don't just purely focus on reducing headcount. The first one is look at your tech stack and look at your IT. Is that IT, is it up to date? Have people been trained on it? Has it been implemented properly? Because if any of those factors haven't happened, then potentially that's going to create inefficiencies in your business rather than efficiencies. So you need to look at your IT stack and see what you can do there. The second one to take cost out your business is supplier negotiations. So have you revisited all your supplier contracts with a view to negotiating those contracts? Often it's those contracts with long-term standing suppliers which are often the most efficient. Over time those suppliers have got complacent, they might not give you the best deals, the best prices, so you do need to revisit those negotiations with your suppliers, particularly those longer-term suppliers where you've had the longer-term relationships with. Another area to take cost out of your business in a strategic way is looking at hybrid working and being creative with your workforce. Office space is expensive. COVID brought in a whole new change when people were looking at where people were based, and the hybrid model now has really taken off. And that obviously does take cost out because you haven't got to provide office space and desk space for your team. Another area to potentially take cost out of your business is outsourcing. So, outsourcing those functions which are not core to your business. So common ones to outsource are finance, so you outsource your finance team, HR, IT. Again, you're outsourcing it to experts, which means you don't then have to pay for full-time experts within your company. You can then just draw on those skills as and when you need them. So that again should reduce your cost base. So what are the other trends that we're seeing in cost-based reduction? So the obvious one, is AI. Everyone's jumping on the AI bandwagon, but there are clearly some tangible cost savings to be had there. Some sort of very sort of simple things like the chat bots, from the chat bots monitoring your emails, from monitoring your conference calls and bringing all those notes together. Again, it's just taking away some of that manual administration that you would normally pay somebody to do.